Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Happy Friday to you. We're going to take a look at Ethereum, of course, help understand best practice. Kind of more so importantly, what we're looking at is Fibonacci retracement levels. We're going to redraw out some newer levels based on smaller time frames, and also to kind of try to identify, how much lower this could go if it does. And just generally speaking, what we're looking at here for Ethereum. Keep in mind, it is performing very similar to Bitcoin at this point. So if you want to watch my Bitcoin video from earlier today, you can kind of generally understand what the state of Bitcoin is looking like. That might help you understand, get better perspective. But again, it's roughly the same thing. But there are some nuances we need to understand with Ethereum and how it does differ a little bit from Bitcoin. That being said, I'm not a financial advisor. Love teaching people to trade. You want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is the site. Link down below. You can become essentially part of my trading community, academy, and signal group. I do actually have signals that I send out frequently. We took a short for Bitcoin roughly 3.5 days ago, and we took 55% in just say about 4 days. So to me, that's a positive sign. I like to see that. That is awesome. If I can get 50% or 55% every 4 days, that'd be just fine by me. Again, slow and steady in this market. Slow and steady wins the race. Try not to overtrade. It's a common problem. As far as trading is concerned too, if you want to become part of the community, there's just some amazing traders really killing out there. So keep up the good work, guys. Super proud of you. Yes, we make some mistakes sometimes, but the key is to get back on the horse and to learn from your mistakes and to move on. Right? That's the whole thing. So again, keep banding together. Obviously, make sure you check out Bitget as well. It's my favorite exchange. I have a link in the description below if you want to register with that link, or if you're already registered, send me your user ID, because then I can include you in the prize pool monthly of $10,000. That's for our community, and we have one coming up in January. So again, every month we have that. Really just simply profit and loss ratio, trading volume. It's really easy to qualify. You will need a VPN if you're in the States, though, or of course in a restricted country. You do get 3 free months with a 12-month plan here for Express VPN. I partnered with them here recently, and I want to say thank you again to Express for allowing the opportunity to better my community. So thank you so much for that. All right, so here's where we're at with Ethereum. Let's start with the obvious. Okay, it's not fantastic, but again, the market isn't fantastic right now either. Okay, so pretty obvious. We've got nothing but a sea of red. There's very few coins that are performing well today, and that's just standard stuff. We got Bitcoin dominance on the increase. Of course, it's completely overextended. A lot of alts are just getting hit very, very hard, and that is essentially in a market that's coming down. So it's kind of crazy to see Bitcoin dominance go up when the market's going down, but it just shows that alts are essentially 2 to 3x of Bitcoin right now, and Bitcoin being down 3% on the day, that's not very good for most alts. So consider trading alts with caution. Even though Ethereum is somewhat of an altcoin, it's still fairly predictable in the sense that it follows Bitcoin's projection. So let's go ahead and take a look here at Ethereum. So with Ethereum, first and foremost, let's go ahead and draw out some newer Fibonacci retracement levels. Let's go ahead and use the most recent low to the most recent high, and kind of get perspective here on what's going on, right? Because when it comes to support and resistance levels, we want to make sure that we know the more relevant ones, not necessarily the super large ones. Because again, if we look at from before here, and we were to just say reverse this scale here, this Fibonacci, we can see that right down here at, 903 is the next lowest Fibonacci retracement level if we get past 11, or basically 1070, okay? So 1070 is the current support. But once again, if we go all the way down, we'll see 903 as the next potential. I don't think we're going to see that just yet. I do feel like Bitcoin's going to retrace a little bit further, but I don't think we're going to see sub 15,000 for Bitcoin immediately, perhaps next year. But generally speaking, with Ethereum, what we're looking at here is a support level at about 1180 is the current support. So if we zoom in here, we can kind of see it wicked down right there to bounce off that support. Not saying that we're just going to see the price jump up from here, but that is tentatively going to hold as a support. Okay. Furthermore, too, 0.786 level at 1132 is another potential support. So if we do lose 1180, we can set our targets on 1132. So a lot of times when you're setting profit targets or entry targets, best thing to do is to use them based on these Fibonacci retracement levels. So in other words, just do 1135, for example, for an entry for a long if you're considering one. Also 1180, maybe try 1182, 1183, just a little bit above so you get filled. Different strategies, of course, but that is essentially how I try to take entry with my trades and take profit as well. Looking on the daily, though, just like Bitcoin, we're seeing the RSI dip below 50. That is not fantastic by any stretch. We can also see a MACD divergence on the horizon. This one's a little more immediate, though. Bitcoin looks like it's a few days away from it, whereas Ethereum looks like it's ready to drop hard. Again, not necessarily going to drop hard because you see a divergence on the MACD. That can absolutely just bounce, but for the most part, it's not positive. And we do have a lot of room to run here as well, because traditionally, if you see the price, you see how the price comes down here, and you'll see that for the most part, unless there's some crazy situations, you're going to have a bounce off of 30 on the RSI. It's pretty common for the price to kind of come off that level. So we're not even close to that level yet. We're at, like, just say 43, for example. So we got more room for downside. So I'd expect it to come down further before it comes back up. So to me, I would think that shorting either throughout the weekend and or just holding on to your current shorts open that we have right now. For example, we have a Bitcoin short right now. Hold on to that. I think there's a good chance we're going to hit our targets. So again, if you're going to a short Ethereum, be cautious and careful shorting right now just because it's kind of overextended on the daily. But once again, there's more room to run, if that makes sense. Okay. And take a quick look at the simple moving average. This is roughly the same scenario as Bitcoin. While the 200-day SMA is trending a little closer to the price action, we can see 50 on the RSI and, of course, on the simple moving average, holding as a strong rejection point. Okay, so 50 is just saying, nope, the price is unwilling to go past this level. So until we break above the 50-day SMA on Ethereum, I'm not really bullish or intending to take a long position, unless, of course, there's a little bit of, there's some channel trades you can totally take. But we haven't established a channel yet, okay? So we're waiting on that. But by right now, at this point, basically, we can expect further downside. The daily is telling us we have all signs pointing south, okay? Take a look at TD sequential, roughly the same scenario here. We came down to a 9, and now we reset all the way down to a 3. So hypothetically, we could see another 6 days of bearish continuation of the downside. Now, you got to keep in mind, it's not a guarantee that you're going to continue further and hit a 9 every time, okay? Usually hitting 2 9s in a row on the 4 hour is typically a recipe for a reversal. While we're seeing that right now on some other coins like Litecoin and BNB, for example, and they're still running down, they were overextended going into this push, okay? So again, if you have coins that are overextended, they're going to get hit a lot harder, and that's essentially what's happening here, whereas Ethereum's kind of been running par with Bitcoin. You see that? Very similar charts, okay? Again, similarity is positive in a sense because you know that there's a correlation, and ultimately, if you just know what Bitcoin's going to do, you know what Ethereum's going to do too. That's just general concept, right? Because again, get good at analyzing Bitcoin and you'll be fine with most alts, unless some of them that are kind of separating themselves from Bitcoin. Either way you look at it, we are under 70 on the RSI here, correction, under 30, the opposite side here. So basically just telling us that we have lost that potential support level. Usually 30 on the RSI is a bouncing point as well on both the 4 hour and the daily, okay? Now again, minus some FTX issues for the most part, you'll see a bounce off of 30. So there is a good chance we're going to see a pullback to the upside from Ethereum. I'm not saying it's going to be a strong recovery. Could just be a dead cat bounce, but it will likely bounce here soon off that 1780 range, which it kind of already has when you think about it, okay? So this might be the lowest point at which we'll see Ethereum in the immediate future. So hypothetically, you're going to play along. Make sure your long position is tight and you take profits between 1200 and 1210. Because again, you want to take profits before you hit that Fibonacci retracement level and the price rejects out and comes back down. Once again, not saying to long, but if you are to, play it safe and keep it tight. Taking a look at the 1 hour, let's go ahead and verify a couple things here. First of all, we want to see how far this is running. We can see that the price keeps getting little resets here, comes down, legs down, just keeps going over. This is a healthy continuation pattern, by the way. I know it seems weird to hear healthy when it's coming down, but that is, this is essentially just the way that it's working. It's establishing lower highs and lower lows pretty consistently. Until we break that plane, we're going to expect that to continue. So what we want to see is a reversal. What's going to be the first indication that Ethereum might be back on track, same thing with Bitcoin, is to establish a higher low. Okay, so we need to have a higher low soon because there hasn't been any higher lows yet. You can even say that as a stretch this was a higher low, but it just dumped immediately. That is not what you want to go on. You want to go with confirmation. It takes a few hours to get that. So just say hypothetically the price continues and we see a few more higher lows, we should expect the price to potentially continue higher from there once we've broken this plane of the most recent high, okay? Because then at that point we'd be establishing higher highs and then we'd be on the right track. We're a long ways away from that. Okay, we got at least 48 hours before that happens. And coincidentally, we look at the daily, we've got at least 48 hours of bearish continuation on both the 4 hour and the daily based on TD sequential numbers. So hypothetically, we should have decent long potential early next week and or at the end of this weekend. So I'd recommend being cautious and not going into a bunch of long positions this weekend. While it will likely recover, it may not sustain itself. Okay. again, just some friendly advice there. Take a look at the Ichimoku Cloud. All green lights to leave your short position if you have one open. Essentially just saying there's no reason to take a long position right now. I know buying the dip is tempting, but it's more worthwhile to take profits on the way up while something is moving in the way up instead of trying to find the bottom every time. You know, those that search for the bottom are typically those who get wrecked really hard. And I know it sucks and it's rough because you can take some massive profits by doing so. And I know there's nothing worse than missing out on a really nice dip. But again, the trend right now is moving down no matter how you look at it. And if you try to go against the trend, you're going to likely get hurt because, again, it's a lower probability of success when you're swimming upstream, okay? So try not to be a salmon. Try to be whatever the inverse of that would be when you're going out to the ocean. I don't know what, trout? No, they don't go to the ocean. It doesn't matter. It's a terrible analogy, but you get the idea, right? Try not to work against the grain. That's the concept here, and the grain effectively is going down, right? So there we go. All right. Took me a little while to figure that out and to describe that, but that is essentially the common denominator here, right? Everything's pointing down. No need to fight it. Once again, feel free to add to your position. 1195 is a good a place in which you can kind of add to your long-term portfolio if you'd like. Because once again, we may not see these price points for a while, but there's also speculation that we will. Again, next year may not be the greatest year for cryptocurrency. There's a lot of nonsensical stuff going on right now. So I would just recommend being cautious and careful and being safe in this environment. And I can tell you that right now, Ethereum is it's a bit on the struggle bus, right? Okay. All right. Nonetheless, thanks again for joining me. If you want to become a better trader, again, cryptocash.tech is a site. Make sure you use Bitget and ExpressVPN as a combo there if you trade in the States, so you can benefit from some significant trading pools every month. Once again, hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you soon.